I know many of you know this already, but this is just a quick introduction to SohCahToa. So SohCahToa relates to our three trigonometric ratios, which are sine, cosine, and tangent. And those are just the short. We use SIN, COS, and TAN for the short for each one of those. And what I mean by trigonometric ratios is they relate to a right triangle. If you imagine on a right triangle, we always have one angle that's the right angle, and across from that angle is the side we call the hypotenuse. And then we have two legs. If we call this leg A, B, C, we can follow along with our sine, cosine, and tangent. Now, sine, cosine, and tangent are going to relate really to these two angles here and here. Let's start with our red angle for a second. The sine of our red angle, we call that, let's actually label these. This will be A, this will be B, and this will be C. Okay. The sine for angle A is going to be equal to the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. The opposite refers to this opposite side over here, which is B. So it's going to be opposite, or in this case B, over hypotenuse, or in this case side C. If we don't actually use the side letters, but instead just the corner letters, which might be easier, we can call this BC divided by AB. So it's the ratio of opposite side over hypotenuse. Likewise, the cosine of angle A is going to be equal to the adjacent side divided by hypotenuse, or A over H, or in this case, AC divided by AB. And then finally, the tangent of angle A is going to be equal to the opposite over the adjacent, which is BC divided by AC. So those are what I mean by trigonometric ratios. Okay, and then we could go through and do the same thing for angle B, which would look like this. And they would look similar, related, but different, right? Because the sine of angle B is going to be the opposite, which in this case is AC, over the hypotenuse, which is AB, which if you remember was the cosine for angle A. Likewise, the cosine for angle B is going to be BC over AB, which was the sine for angle A. So the sine and cosine are switched depending on the angle here. And then tangent finally for B is opposite, which is AC, over adjacent, which is BC. And notice that that's just the reciprocal of what the tangent was for angle A. Okay, so all these are related, but that's what trigonometric ratios are. They're how we relate sides to angles in specifically a right triangle. We will talk about other ways we can use trigonometry and these ratios outside of right triangles, but for now we're talking about only right triangles, and I just wanted to introduce you to this idea. SohCahToa is just an easy way to remember how are these related, right? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So it's just a good mnemonic device for remembering all that.